Well, good evening, everyone. It's Joe Rayo and Joe Chaffee here on the Joe and Joe Weather Show. This Thursday, the 27th of August, 2020. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Clearly, we have of course, Hurricane Laura, which made landfall this morning, early in the during the early morning hours, and has now moved northward. But I think front and center for those of you who are in the areas of Long Island, especially central and eastern Long Island, Connecticut, the Hudson Valley, and points north and west, we got a lot of severe weather late this afternoon and this evening, Joe. In fact, my understanding is that there was what may have been a long duration tornado that touched down somewhere in Waterbury, Connecticut, and wound up making it almost all the way down to New Haven. Uh,
Yeah,
Wicked stuff today.
in addition to all of that, the hail, we're getting reports of hail anywhere from dime to nickel size in many spots. But this was not something that caught anybody off guard. If they've been watching us over the last day or two, Joe, we've been warning that while certainly the events in the Gulf states, Texas and Louisiana with Laura was quite significant. In fact, just terrible to see all the destruction that took place down there. We kept saying that up in our neck of the woods, it wasn't going to be an easy go either. We're right in the throes. As I speak to you now, there are cracks of thunder outside. Picked up about 0.35 inches of rain in only about 3 or 4 minutes here. Tremendous downpour along about 5 o'clock this afternoon. More of this probably to come for another hour or two in many spots. And then we have to rewind and get ready to do it all over again with the approach of yet another strong weather front and the remnants of Laura probably for Friday night into Saturday.
All right, 3 days in a row of severe weather risk. This is the first day, and going to start with the wide radar shot this evening, and we'll see this current. This was this morning's warm front that moved northward, and I had a couple of a couple of brief showers this morning, and as the warm front moved northward, now that front's coming back the other way, and you see the line here, Joe. There's a line of storms running along the Pennsylvania-New York border to about the Catskills, goes east-southeast into Connecticut and over Long Island. SPC did a very good job today with where they put the watch boxes up because there's been very little outside the southern end of the two tornado watch boxes that we've had that they put up. And there's another line of storms in western Pennsylvania that's looks like it's bowing a little bit here, and that's moving southeastward, and that prompted the Storm Prediction Center to put up a new severe thunderstorm watch. So I'm going to run through those watches really quick. First off, we were in enhanced severe weather, northern New Jersey to the Hudson Valley, Connecticut, and Long Island, northeastern Pennsylvania. Maybe the southern edge of this was a little bit too far to the south, but the general idea is you're never going to get it exactly correct. But they did a pretty good job both with the forecast and then when they did the watch boxes. So this watch box here, it's 7:02 Eastern time, by the way. So if you're watching this on a replay, obviously it's dated. So be sure to check on any of the latest weather information. You go to weather.gov for your National Weather Service forecast office. But this is the tornado watch that's up for another hour, less than an hour, expires at 8 o'clock. Uh, a new severe thunderstorm watch is up until midnight tonight across southwestern uh, Pennsylvania going east into south central PA, kind of cuts off right around Harrisburg or so. And the northern edge runs up to maybe just about from Du Bois to Williamsport. That is because of that second line, but very, very active indeed with this with this cold, this front dropping back southward with these storms. I said yesterday that 5% tornado chance sounds like a small number, but it really isn't.
No, for our neck of the woods, 5% is just about as high as I think we've ever gone. I may be wrong. Maybe there was one time in the dark, distant past where they perhaps with one particularly or one auspiciously, strong line of storms, they may have gone up as high as 10%. You sometimes see that out in the Midwest, but here 5% is like waving a red flag saying, watch out, because there most definitely could be funnel cloud, tornado activity in and around the region. And that certainly has happened today. By the way, Joe, I don't know if you saw the interesting dichotomy of temperatures. At 3 o'clock today, it was 59 degrees in Albany.
Yes.
And at the same time, down in Beacon and Poughkeepsie in the lower Hudson Valley, Dutchess County area, 87 degrees. And
Oh
it's not,
yeah, a huge spread of temperatures for this time of year. That's you don't see that too often. But I noticed this morning, even from the start this morning on the, it was down in the 40s in a lot of spots up in upstate New York and in central New England. While it was the tropical air, it was already in the 70s. So the table was set here for a big severe weather event, no doubt. And there hasn't been too much going on in New Jersey yet. We just have a cell now moving into the northwest counties of New Jersey. You can see there's three severe thunderstorm warnings, and I believe one special marine warning, or it might be two and two. A special marine warning up in the sound and another one off the south shore. There's two severe thunderstorm warnings up. Oh, they just third, but a third, by the way, Joe, is over you. So it appears you may now have a severe thunderstorm warning where you are in Putnam and into Westchester County as these cells continue to kind of slide their way southeastward.
right. Well, as I said just a few moments ago, I've been hearing cracks of thunder outside. We had some heavy duty rains around 5 o'clock. Then it kind of petered out, and now just literally before we started here at 7 o'clock on Joe and Joe, the rains have begun picking up again, and so has the thunder. So if you hear some cracks of thunder in the background, you'll know that certainly verifies what you just said, Joe, about what the radar is indicating. That we do have some rather strong cells in the vicinity.
Right, here's the Central PA, State College PA radar, and you see the line that's in the southwest and south and moving into from Central PA to Southwest PA, dropping southward. There's also some storms up in northeastern PA, go north and east of Williamsport up toward Binghamton. And just to get another kind of a rounded view here, let's see if I can go to we'll go up to the Binghamton radar and take a look at that and see the storms from their perspective. And we'll just give the radar a shot to load. Yeah, I mean, it still looks pretty busy. The cells maybe aren't, perhaps they're not quite as strong as they were during the middle to the latter part of this afternoon, but still pretty busy there on the radar. And by the way, real-time lightningmaps.org, Joe, I can see those lightning strikes right over your house. They're there.
I'm surprised I'm still on the air here.
There's a
I hope
bunch.
I don't lose power.
There's a bunch south of
Knock wood
me.
here.
Yeah, I have one cell that's south of me now, moving off the South Shore. You've got one overhead. There's another one over Newburgh, and then there's other scattered strikes as you go north and west. Now getting some fresh lightning strikes up in northwest New Jersey. So that part of the state again. This was one of those instances where New Jersey, this time around, Central and South Jersey and southeastern PA didn't see much of anything, at least not yet.
Right. Well, we still have to wait for that line that you just pointed out a few moments ago over in the western end of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, in fact, most of western central Pennsylvania is under severe thunderstorm watch until midnight tonight. So that line looks like they're thinking it's going to hold together for a while. And you know, don't speak. You say that they haven't seen much of anything yet, but we still got a few more hours to go of this, and they may yet get into the fun, so to speak, Joe.
I just got a text message from Jason Nappy, who works down at the one of the television stations in Lafayette, and I asked him about damage with Laura, and I'll get to that in just a second. I just want to go to Tornado HQ. You can take a look at the radar here from that website's perspective. You get a nice shot here of all the different cells. This was actually from about 15 or 20 minutes ago. I'm looking at the tornado warnings that are working right now. There are a lot of tornado warnings in the state of Arkansas now. That's with Laura, which we'll touch on in a second. But it's this particular one that was about 3 hours ago. Of course, it's long expired. At 3:59 p.m., a tornado warning was issued. The severe thunderstorms capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight line wind damage located over North Haven or near Wallingford, moving southeast at 60 miles an hour. There was another one earlier at 309. So my understanding is that that might be the same tornado, this one at 309 that started out in Litchfield County, uh, near the Cornwall Bridge. I'm not sure where that is. It's 13 miles north of New Milford and was moving southeast at 50. So, according to my source at the Weather Service, that might have been the same tornado that eventually wound up down near New Haven, and there has been damage out of this. So we'll get more information, or if it gets texted to me, I will certainly pass it on. So again, these are good websites, by the way, for those of you who are interested in this. TornadoHQ.com. Basically, get all the tornado warnings as they come out, just line up one after another. And the other one for the lightning strikes is lightningmaps.org. And speaking of which, I'm going to swing this around, since we're going to start talking about. There are some big cells, by the way, going on in Ohio right now too, and some big thunderstorms in and around Pittsburgh in western PA. But I want to go down toward where we've got Laura and take a look at what's on the. See if there's anything going on there with. I don't see much in the way of lightning strikes here, so that's a plus. But sometimes you don't get the thunderstorms that you wind up getting. Get these the tornadoes that form out of the circulation don't often produce a whole lot of lightning at this stage. So not too big of a shock that you're not seeing too much there. But we'll pull up the radar. But definitely, there's from early looking at all these tornado warnings that were out. The last one was at 5:46 Central Time. This was in Lee and Phillips and Francis counties and St. Francis counties in Arkansas. And another one. These both expire at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:15 Central. This other one, Lee, Phillips, Coahoma, Coahoma, in Arkansas and in Mississippi, and that's going to expire. So they're busy as well. Back to the radar shot, and I'll bring up the full U.S. view, and we'll go down to the southwest. Let's move this along, and there we go.
I was just blown away, Joe, by the fact that at the noon update today, the center was near Shreveport, Louisiana, and it was still categorized as a Cat 1 hurricane with 75-mile-per-hour winds. Very shortly thereafter, they downgraded it finally to a tropical storm. But I mean, like, that thing was over land for a good 6 to 8 hours, moving on a good clip to the north, and still managed to maintain hurricane intensity. That is absolutely incredible.
Oh, it is. No doubt about it. What's left on the radar, you see the circulation is there. It looks like it's in southwestern Arkansas, and there's just this, this arc of heavy rain that's sweeping northward. It's just kind of this arm that's lifting up northward through the state of Arkansas. Still getting some bands of rain down in eastern Louisiana, and those are lifting northward as well. So now we're waiting for this to make the right turn, which it's going to do in short order. And I always like to see these storms when you look at them on the satellite loops after they've moved inland, Joe. They sometimes they have they maintain that signature. Even
Right.
though they've weakened, they still maintain that signature. And this one, very impressive indeed on the latest loop. You can also see, by the way, on the upper right, the severe weather that's running right now through the Northeast, particularly the areas that we showed you on the radar. But there's Laura, it still stands out there. Kind of, I'm not seeing maybe a slight eastward nudge, but eventually it's going to just make that sharp right turn, because if you look up just to the north of Laura, those clouds are all moving from west to east. So with the next shortwave trough dropping down, it's really just a matter of time before it just makes the turn. And then, as you said earlier, Joe, we start the ball game all over again.
58 degrees right now, according to one of my Facebook readers, James Walsh, 58 degrees at Chestertown/North Creek, New York, as we speak. And that's up in the northern end of the state. And as you mentioned, Joe, the northern half of New York State was in the cool, calm zone. They didn't have anything to worry about in terms of heavy rain or convection today, but it was the places that were south of that wavering frontal line. And of course, that's where we were in the tri-state area. I hit 90 degrees at 4:20, for goodness sake. And again, 40 minutes later, the sky got black and down came the heavy rain. And I started out this morning with maybe about 5/100ths of an inch of rain as the actual warm front kind of rippled on past our area. And I knew immediately when I woke up, because I said last night, I'd keep the windows up for a good part of the night. But as soon as I woke up this morning, you could feel the humidity. I think it was already like dew points were already in the low 60s, eventually rising probably to around 70 before all heck broke loose around mid-afternoon today.
All right, bear with me because I am trying my best here. I actually downloaded a very long duration loop of Laura here, and I opened it. I opened it a bunch of times on my computer, so I'm trying to see if I can bring the shot up. See if that works. Oh, there it is. Okay, so now you see it. I saved this. If you look on the Go site, folks, you can actually create your own loops and download them very easily. But I wanted to at least get this particular loop. I went back to overnight, just before it made landfall, where you see the eye is so well defined coming ashore. And Joe, they talked about the big story yesterday with respect to the expected storm surge, and apparently the storm kind of wobbled a little bit to the east at the last minute, and it spared the city of Lake Charles from the deep storm surge. But he said, the text that Jason sent to me, there was catastrophic damage at landfall for the parish that he didn't say what parish it was. You work for a TV station, you got doing journalism, Jason. You got to put the parish in here. Okay, so from my memory, the neighboring parish is Jefferson Davis Parish, which includes the city of Cameron. I believe it includes Cameron, Louisiana. So I'll wait to hopefully hear from him. He's probably on the air right now, but that wobble apparently caused the storm surge to be at about 9 or 10 feet. And from what I've heard so far, there has not been the storm surge didn't take any lives, thankfully, and that may be because perhaps were able to get just about everybody evacuated, which would have been a good thing.
That is a good thing, because there's always somebody. It always seems that there's always somebody who insists that they're going to ride it out, and more often than not, that's the last time we ever hear from those people again. I don't understand why, but that's the way it goes sometimes with some people.
Yeah, what are you going to do? That's that like it. Yeah, some folks. They think they're gonna be the ones to make it. Look, everybody's got to make their own decisions about what they are going to do in situations like that. And I've said many times, and you've heard me say it too, that you should follow the advice of your local officials when it comes to tropical storms and hurricanes. You and I can't really give you the answer, but they can. And also go to weather.gov and go to the Hurricane Center, nhc.noaa.gov. So Laura, now, as we said, the next story is going to be where it's headed, and it's going to be to the east. But before that, we do have some severe weather risks to get through. And just bear with me, Joe, because I think I have so many windows open at the same time that my computer just got stuck for a moment. Usually it gets
Understood.
Usually
I
it
did
gets.
that. I did one of my short fused updates at 12:45. I think I must have had like eight or nine windows open, and I was trying to, it was like playing Scrabble.
Yeah.
All right, hold on, everybody, and I'm trying to move one thing into another position or whatever.
Usually, if I got too many loops running, it becomes a problem. So I'm getting some motion here. I'm just trying to close the U.S. satellite loop, so that should give me a little bit more to work with. But until we do, now we've got severe weather risk again for tomorrow, per the Storm Prediction Center. It's a little tricky tomorrow because the frontal boundary is going to be uh, back down on top of us. So I think tomorrow is going to be one of those days where we're going to we're going to have to watch the hourly obs to see just exactly who's in the warm sector and who isn't. Because north of that, you're going to have temperatures in the 70s again, and south of that, you're going to be up about 90 or better. So it's going to be a little bit of a game in trying to figure out who gets it. But I think I got my windows working again. So let's see if that's, yes, I do. So let's look at that. And we'll take a look. Now, here's tonight's severe weather risk, of course, and we don't want to forget there's also enhanced risk back in the Dakotas. That's a long area, and it's right at the base of that fast-moving jet stream coming down out of Canada. Now, for tomorrow, the Storm Prediction Center brings the severe weather a little bit further to the south this time. So the northern edge, which they actually have adjusted further north, marginal risk to Long Island, New York City, and to your neighbor's house, but not to your house, Mr. Rayo. And that runs back up over the Great Lakes. You've got slight risk, western PA, all the way back into Iowa, with an enhanced risk in southern Wisconsin, northwestern Illinois, and eastern Iowa. Also, the slight risk you see in Kentucky, Tennessee, northern Mississippi, Alabama, that's Laura now as it's turned to the east. And we'll move to day 3. And remember, this started showing up at day 5. So on day 3, the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe weather from northeastern South Carolina through much of North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, southeastern Pennsylvania, the slight risk just to about New York City, and then it makes the turn back across northern New Jersey. Marginal risk goes up into southern New England. I kind of like tomorrow's a little tricky, as I said, but I kind of like, after looking at what's going on for Saturday, the way SPC has this set up, I think makes a lot of sense.
Well, the Storm Prediction Center was talking about Saturday, and they said that there were 2 camps. One camp, which included the European and the UK Met, kept the remnants of Laura separate, keeping it as a separate identity, and actually intensifying it as it moved off the mid-Atlantic coast late Saturday and Saturday night. Whereas the other models, some of the shorter-term models, such as the NAM and the GFS, they more or less absorbed the remnants of Laura with that cold front as it arrived at the mid-Atlantic coast on Saturday evening. So it depends upon what model you're using, and it makes a little bit of a tricky thing to try to determine, where do you draw your various zones for a slight risk or a marginal risk of severe weather. But I think basically, if you just tell people, no matter where you are in the tri-state area, and especially points south of here, just to be advised that probably Saturday afternoon into early Saturday evening, the weather is going to be at its worst. We'll probably see the heaviest rainfall, some embedded convection, some of the convection, especially as is indicated here on the map, south of the New York area, could be rather potent. That's all you really need to know. And I think a lot of this is going to be done after about 8 or 9 o'clock on Saturday evening. A nice swath of dry air coming in, and a really lovely and rather brisk northwesterly flow, both at the surface and aloft by Sunday morning, which tells me that Sunday, and probably Monday too, going to be a couple of really nice days, as opposed to the couple of not so nice days we're going to be going through Friday and Saturday.
Here's the 18Z surface map. I'm going to freshen it up to the 21. And you see where Laura is on the 21Z map, but 33.4, 92.8 is the Hurricane Center's position. And all the way up to the north, now back over us, there's that frontal boundary that this morning was sitting south of New York City. Now it's lying from southern Rhode Island across northwest Connecticut to just south of Albany. There's a little wave there that's near Syracuse. And of course, you've got the frontal boundary extends right across southern Michigan, southern Wisconsin, and back through Iowa. And you get these little ripples that sort of move along on that front. So kind of gives you the idea of what exactly we're dealing with. The WPC folks indicating that we could wind up between now and Sunday. Well, this goes through next Thursday. So I believe, if my memory serves, there's another rain. There's some more chances for showers and storms after Monday. So in total, rainfall amounts of 2 to 3 inches over the next week. I don't know how much of that is going to be. Maybe an inch to an inch and a half, perhaps, if the rain lines up correctly with Saturday. We'll see. But you see, the big bullseye is in southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, with Laura right now. Most of that is with Laura, and then that extends it to Kentucky and Tennessee and points eastward into the Central Appalachians. Starts to dry out a bit as you get into North and South Carolina, especially near the coast. And we don't have any other tropical storms to worry about at the moment, so that's a good thing. So let's jump over to the NAM from late this afternoon. The short range models today weren't perfect, but at least they had it, so it helped. And in fact, if you look at what's supposed to be right now, the NAM really kind of underplaying the whole area, the extent of the area of shower and thunderstorm activity that we saw on the radar earlier. Now this drops to the south, and then tomorrow during the afternoon, you see there isn't too much that develops here on the NAM model anyway, but I'm going to be a little cautious with all this tropical air and this frontal boundary. And let's widen out so we can take a look at Saturday. But at this stage, you've got the remnant low of Laura still there on the NAM, hasn't quite absorbed it completely until Saturday morning. And then it becomes part of the cold front. We're back in the warm sector, Joe, on Saturday. The warm front on the NAM is all the way up to Boston at this point. And then you see these showers and storms that fire up Saturday afternoon. Haven't been here as early as 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And as you said, by 8 or 9 o'clock at night, the front is right on top of us, right on the coast and through, and all this dry air that's back through here, that's coming in for Sunday and Monday.
Right, and the discussions also, the long-range discussions were suggesting or indicating that the GFS was rather robust with the next splurge, if you will, of rain or thunderstorm activity from later Monday into Tuesday, and the European model, not so much. So there's a little bit of a difference of opinion in the meteorological sense, I guess, as to how much rain we're going to see come early to middle of next week. But I think we're going to get at least a couple of day break here on Sunday and Monday in terms of some really nice weather, and always those fresh northwesterly winds are always quite welcome. We haven't seen enough of those this summer.
Yeah, by the way, I just pulled up the European from today when you were talking before about the fact that the European was keeping Laura as pretty much a separate system. Well, that has now the European has gone the way of the other models, where you still have an identifiable feature of Laura in eastern Kentucky, separate from the low, the 94 low that's in Lake Huron. And it still kind of leaves it separate, but the front is the dominating factor. There's going to be an identifiable feature that you're going to be able to follow along on the radar and on the satellite to an extent. And it might enhance the shower and thunderstorm activity to a degree, but we're not going to see I don't think we're going to see the center of that whatever identifiable feature there is coming up this far north. You'll get the front through here. There'll be something on the radar that we can point to and say, okay, that's what's left of Laura. The front goes by. Sunday and Monday look good. Yeah, the European's probably a little bit slower. I'm thinking with respect to bringing the moisture back in along about Tuesday.
And Joe, what do you think about this? Now, I've heard a couple of forecasts. They're alluding to, well, it's going to be moving off the mid-Atlantic coast, the remnants of Laura, and still going to be quite strong, and we may still be subject to winds of 20 to 40 miles per hour. Quite frankly, I don't think we're going to be seeing that much in the way of wind at all. I think the main feature of what's going to happen here later Saturday or Saturday evening will be from the cold front.
Yeah.
And that in terms of convection.
Which you would have gotten anyway.
Right. And and some spots of possibly moderate or briefly heavy rain. But in terms of the inferring that we might see gusty winds as high as 40 miles an hour because the former hurricane or the remnant low is now passing to our south. I really don't see that.
No, I don't either. And I'm just following the GFS along here, uh, thinking about how nice it's going to be for Sunday and Monday with the high to the north. And then it kind of starts to go back the other way on Tuesday with some showers and then another cold front that comes through late in the week. And then we'll have some dry air behind it. Right now, Sal Blandino is watching. I would say it looks promising for the Labor Day holiday weekend, at least the first 2 days, maybe even the third day, the way
Oh,
it
you
looks.
you're going all the
So,
way out to you're going out what? How many days? Like
well,
10 days or 12
that's
days?
next weekend.
Not this weekend.
No, not this weekend, next weekend.
Right. So
So he's been
we're going out
asking
like
about.
15 days or 12 days
I
out.
know, but Joe, he's been asking about it, and I can't deny him.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's got a very busy schedule, and he probably has, a whole slew of dames he's going to be meeting up with.
You realize, of course, that this coming weekend is the last weekend of August, folks. I mean, ouch.
I know it is rolling right along.
It is
Look
moving
how
so
cold. Yeah, look how I'm looking at the upper air here for the end of August, and you see the 500, the anomalies, and you see that the blue area really basically tells you how cold it is aloft. It's pretty cold aloft over the Northeast. No wonder we're getting this the severe weather that we're seeing tonight. We're kind of on the edge of this northwest flow and this
right.
deep upper low to the northeast. And the upper atmosphere is actually fairly chilly going into next week. Now it modifies later next week because a ridge builds along the east coast, and then you get another trough that comes through just before you go into the Labor Day holiday weekend, and then the ridge builds. Actually, if the GFS is right, we're at day 8 and 9. That east-west ridge that's been around pretty much all summer is back in the southeastern part of the United States, and just kind of pivots a little bit as the next trough drops in into the northeast later in the forecast period. I will say this with respect to the tropics. I've seen a few people put out um, a few people that are better at the long range than I am, thinking that in about a week or so we're going to see we're going to take a little bit of a break here with with Laura being gone. And the atmosphere may start to rev up some more tropical activity in about a week or so, and then in about 2 weeks, it's going to really rev up. So we got a busy September ahead of us.
Yeah. Were you are you quoting Bill?
Am I
Or,
call? Am I
okay.
quote? A few people. Bill,
Yeah.
cranky weather guy, and one or two others that I read over this morning with some sort of broad brush pontifications about the long range, and they usually they've been pretty good with it. So I'm certainly not making it my forecast. Definitely giving them the credit. So, but that's what they're saying, and they've done pretty well so far this tropical season.
Well, we'll see what happens. Of course, the traditional peak of the hurricane season not too far away, September 10th, and then we'll slide down. I don't know how quickly we're going to slide down, climatologically speaking. It looks like this particular season we may still have our hands full even into the middle or latter part of October, and who knows, maybe even spilling over into November as well.
All right, so just speaking of the tropic center, is looking at two areas of disturbed weather. One is right over the Cabo Verde Islands. They aren't forecasting development of either one. A 20% chance out for 5-day development, and nothing is going to happen until it gets further along in the tropical Atlantic. So we're talking about sometime around the early part of next week. Another tropical wave is in the central tropical Atlantic, and it's a bit on the farther south. and that looks to be moving into the Eastern Caribbean. And this one they say gradual development is possible during the next several days as it moves west at 15 to 20 miles an hour, and they give this a 30% chance of possibly developing in the next 5 days. But there's nothing imminent with respect to tropical cyclone development, and that's a good thing. We're
Well,
back we're back on
considering that we
full
had
screen, by the way.
considering that we just have gone through a week here where we had one, tropical system at the start of the week, Marco, everybody forgot about Marco all of a sudden,
Right.
and now we have Laura. So yeah, I guess the atmosphere will be taking like a little bit of a breather before it revs up again, as you just mentioned, in the next week or two.
All right, so I think we kind of run through everything. There's not much else that I have to say. I don't know about you, but we haven't had a day off in a while, so I'm kind of tired.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge A&M Weather, who hit the chat board, super chat tonight. And Joe, he says, have a cigar on me, if you will, still partake. I know
Thank
you
you.
do, Joe,
Yes.
not me. But he said, I have been informed by your show for years now. Thank you. Do you know where I could take good certificate classes online for weather, geology, or chemistry? Want to expand on my AS degree. Uh, I know people in the broadcasting field, when they want to get a certificate of their AMS seal, they take a correspondence course from Mississippi State University. I don't know if they still
Right.
are doing
I
it.
think they still do. Plus, the way things are right now, with a lot of colleges offering online stuff, you might as well check, Penn State and um, all the other universities that have programs. Oswego in upstate New York. You might want to check that out. And thank you for hitting super chat, AM Weather. Really appreciate it. ANM Weather.
Yes.
Um, Really do appreciate it greatly. Yeah, check those out. Check all the schools that have meteorology programs, because if they're all doing stuff online, you might be able to do it at a discount price. Because
That's quite
a
possible.
lot of
Yeah.
schools, particularly the smaller schools, a lot of schools are cutting prices for people that for not having classes on campus. So you might even check Stony Brook. And if you're a resident of the People's Republic of the State of New York, you get a break in the tuition. On the other hand, if you're a resident of the People's Republic of the State of New Jersey, you can check Rutgers right there.
Right.
So
Also Albany, good.
Albany, although Albany is known as a party school.
Oh, really?
Well, it used to
I
be. I
read
don't know if it
also
still
about,
is, but every
well,
time I see somebody mention Albany U, they always add that line that Albany U had the reputation of being a party school. Also, how about Western? Was it WestCon, Western Connecticut?
Western Connecticut, and also Oneonta. My wife is a graduate of Oneonta,
Oneonta.
the meteorology program. And let's not also forget Alan Casper School, Linden State up in New England. They
No,
still
well,
have
he didn't go to Linden State. He went to Belknap College, and
Belknap. Okay.
that's been closed for many years now. But
Okay.
Linden State, my understanding is that they may be closing down. From what
It's,
I
uh,
saw somebody post about that. I didn't really look into it, but that they may be that they may be having some kind of difficulties of some sort.
I
Um,
wonder if the city is, well, City College, do they still
I
have,
don't believe they do.
they don't, I mean, that's sad. City College, when you and I were going to City College, they had some real first class instructors. They had Professor William Donn,
Right.
Donn.
They all came from
Also, he went to
NYU.
NYU in Columbia. Jerome Spar,
Hmm.
um, Albert Ehrlich, and of course
Professor
Stan
Ehrlich,
Getman, who
Professor
retired years and
Romer,
years ago. Yeah,
Professor Getzelman. Sure,
yeah, yeah. They were
sure.
all first class. In fact, I went to a convention a few years ago. I think it was in 2017, and I was sitting next to, I believe, a Chinese, a
Kuawu.
rather young Chinese, and it turned out to be Kwang Kong at the Weather Prediction Center
Oh, okay.
down, and we see him occasionally. When they do long range maps or short term maps, you'll see at the bottom. It's a you see Kong. and
Yes.
he was sitting right next to me, and I was talking to Renata about Dr. Getzelman, and he taps me on the shoulder. He said, "Excuse me, Stan Getzelman?" He says, "I was in Stan Getzelman's class." He was in Stan Getzelman's class in like the 1990s. I was in Stan's class in the
I
70s,
know.
and we took a picture with each other. Like, and I sent it over to Stan. I said, "Well, here you are, Stan. Two of your star students."
Yep. Long
Well, that's
time
great.
ago.
I hope A&M Weather is successful in being able to line up a college and get a few courses in with meteorology. It's great.
It sure is. We made careers out of it, and we're still gasping for air, but we're here.
We're here, Joe.
We're here, still
We're
lurking
here.
about.
You ever see these TV stations? I saw a TV station now not a lot long ago where they had they had four fresh-faced young people. I'm sure they're all good. I think they all had their various broadcast seals of accreditation or whatever. But the narrator said, so and so combined, they make 50 years, a half a century of weather experience for you on whatever station it was. And I looked at that and I said to myself, my God, you put me and Chiappi together. We got like 80 plus years.
I know. David Scott has confirmed, expect most of Saturday afternoon to be a washout and not just scattered storms. I tend to think that the stuff for Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening is going to be a bit on the widespread side rather than scattered stuff. From
Yeah.
what I saw, yeah, I would
I
say
think
so. The morning might be okay, but the afternoon after 1 or 2 o'clock,
I
there's
actually,
going to be a fair amount of stuff around.
I can't even find it now. I've got so many papers here flying about or whatever. But I figured that on Saturday, Joe, overall, particularly in the afternoon and early part of the evening, some places could pick up upwards to an inch of rain out of the mayhem that's being churned up by that cold front and also the remnants of Laura. So yeah, it looks kind of wet, but the antithesis, the opposite of that, we're going to be on the other side of the spectrum. Sunday and Monday look like a couple of really nice days with much lower humidity, lots of sunshine, much drier weather. 50-50 weekend, it looks like right now.
Johnny Quest asks a question that I think is a logical question to ask. He says, "Why do they start the numbers in the 90s for the invest? Like they have, invest 95L, 96L, whatever it is. I don't know. To tell you the truth, I don't know. It's a good question, but I don't know why they do it that way.
It's probably a federal government
It's
uh,
yeah. There's
thing.
some bureaucratic reason why they do it. I just don't know
Right,
what it is.
right.
You'd have to ask somebody at NHC. They would tell you.
I'm sure they would know pretty much the whole background to that, but I've never been able to understand it myself. I just simply look and I say, oh look, there's a tropical, and even it's confusing. People are, they're talking about Laura and say, you mean she's going to regenerate back into a tropical storm when she gets
Well,
back over the ocean? Because they see the map and they see the
yeah,
open circle with the S in it, but it's not a tropical storm.
it's
It's
a
a post-tropical
post-tropical
storm
or
or an
extra-tropical
extra-tropical. Yeah, yeah.
or
It's confusing.
non-tropical
Or
or
non-tropical.
or a
Yeah.
or a winter-like storm.
Why don't you just call it a nor'easter?
And or yeah, we go down that road again. All right, so let's wrap it up so that we can catch a little bit of a break. It's only a 42-minute show instead of an hour and 42 minutes. So
Right.
tomorrow night, I guess we'll pop in again.
I guess so.
All right, and then we'll probably if look, I'm going to tell you right now, if we're on Saturday, uh, if we're on Saturday, then I actually would want to take Saturday off, even if it's raining in the afternoon.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. If we're on Saturday, you want to take
No,
Saturday
no, no.
off?
I'm trying to think if we see, I'm starting to get tired, so the days are beginning to just pile up one after another and feeling like they're the same. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
having an issue here. So if we wind up doing something on Saturday because there's severe weather around, then
Right.
maybe we'll take a break and not do a Sunday show.
Right. Well, that
Okay,
makes sense.
that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll decide that. We'll see what it looks like tomorrow for Saturday, and then we'll make a decision.
Okay.
All right. All right, folks. You heard it here first. We're not sure what we're doing. So, uh, everybody
I'm
have
happy
a
I didn't lose power. I'm happy I didn't lose power right
well.
now
That's
for the.
true. So everybody have a great night. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Junior's on. Hello, Junior. Good to see you, buddy. I'm sorry, I was about to say goodbye. By the way, you can catch the show in podcast format. It'll be up in about an hour, and it's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, on Anchor, on Spotify, and a whole bunch of other podcast sites. So if you can't find us doing something live, or you don't want to sit and watch through a video, but you can put your earbuds on and you want to listen to it, just try the podcast. And if you do try the podcast, by the way, subscribe to the podcast channel. It does us a lot of good. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great evening, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.